first regular feed about damn crime. So for those of you who don't know, we started this new series on our Patreon during our hiatus, where we're just talking about the true crime news that is happening today. And it is going to come to you every other week. And on the Patreon, it will be there every week. So on our off weeks, you can find About Damn Crime over there just for $5 a month. You can join our Patreon. And that is patreon.com/Rabia and Ellyn. We also do watch parties, Zoom hangs, and we're just constantly putting content up there just to beg you to like us. And that's what we do. But Rabia and I got to hang out together yesterday. We got to do this cool Patreon shoot, and two guys, we just walked around my house and took pictures and cuddled all day. Did you have fun, Rabia?
I had an incredible time. So I was I drove to New Jersey in the morning. I put my kids on a bus. I'm out. I drove to Jersey 3.5 hours. I was so tired. But the minute Ellyn opened the door to her home, I got to see her home, by the way. Gorgeous. My God, you should be an interior designer. Look at my ugly studio. Look at how ugly this is.
I told you we're gonna throw some
wallpaper
wallpaper up there.
It's so ugly. I need wallpaper everywhere now. It is so butt ugly. The minute Ellyn opened the door, it was like I had been injected with adrenaline or crystal meth. It was just like, so excited. I was just like, I literally was like, how am I going to, and I hate getting my pictures taken. I hate doing media. I was like, how am I going to get this photo shoot? But Ellyn made it so much fun. We did outfit changes.
We
We cuddled in her bed.
Yep, we cuddled.
Then we went to my bestie's house for dinner.
Oh, yes. We had yummy food.
Yes, yummy.
And her dog and I went to second base. I think I'm pregnant with puppies. That dog was inside of me.
Ellyn, that's on you. You were emitting something. You were emitting something. That dog, I have been around that dog. I was in the house all night. That dog did not do that to me. It didn't do it to me.
I am about to start shedding my uterine lining.
Well, there you go. That's what it was about. Or he's like, this is the hottest thing. This is the hottest woman I've ever seen.
Listen, they don't call me a cougar for nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he is a puppy. He's a baby.
It's hot cougar summer. And the dogs are the dogs are barking.
Leave the dogs
with
somebody.
All I'm saying is that dog kept sticking its nose in my vajazzle.
Well, no, forget that. I think you were turned around when he actually climbed up your leg. And and dry humped you. I mean, it happened.
Okay, Rabia. Do we have to say dry hump on our very professional podcast?
Our very first broadcast for About Damn Crime. That was a crime.
Welcome back for our summer. Welcome back from our summer hiatus, where Rabia has jumped the shark and she's just trash like me. She literally said last night, she was like, I used to be a respectable member of society.
And the legal community. Now people are like, you do what with who?
Oh, man. I'm sorry. I know. Listen.
I love it.
I bring you down to
I
my
love you,
level.
Ellyn. I love you. No. I can never actually reach your level. I just can't.
She's just trash. You want to start off with your first story, Rabia? Yeah. I have two.
Okay, all right. If you have two, you go first, because like I said, I don't know I'll do mine in the middle, and then we'll go. Then you'll finish.
Okay. I want to talk about Ruby Frankie. Do you all know who this woman is?
That was one of my. That's my story. I swear to God, that's my story.
Oh my God, this hasn't happened yet. Okay, great. We'll have one massive conversation.
Okay.
We have never talked about this.
Like,
you want to lead?
What?
You lead off. I can't believe it, but I'm riveted because she just had her hearing yesterday.
Yes. Okay. Ruby Frankie and another woman named Jodi Hildebrandt, they were arrested on August 30th, late in the day, after Ruby Frankie's 12-year-old son climbed out of a window at Hildebrandt's house. And Hildebrandt, by the way, Jodi and Ruby, I'll call them by their first names, are business partners. They do a bunch of media together. We'll talk about that. But Ruby's son, a 12-year-old son, was at Jodi's house, crawled out of her window, ran to a neighbor's house, asked for food and water, had duct tape and stuff that he had ripped off of his arms, still stuck to his body. And, obviously the neighbors called the police. And have you heard the 911 call?
911, the address of your emergency. Tell me exactly what's happened.
I just had a 12-year-old boy show up here at my front door asking for help. And he's said he just came from a neighbor's house, and we know there's been problems at this neighbor's house. He's emaciated. He's got tape around his legs. He's hungry, and he's thirsty.
Okay, so then the police show up, and they go to the house, and they find another child there who is malnutrition, like a 10-year-old girl, who's also malnutrition and looked like she's been like imprisoned or tied up or something.
So the thing that the neighbor noticed was the duct tape.
Mm-hmm.
They noticed duct tape, you all,
tape.
around the child's ankles and wrists. That's what made them call the police, right? So also they said that the child had deep lacerations from being tied with a rope. So then the police go in, search the home, and then they find her 10-year-old daughter in the same condition.
Rubies, yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and took both of the children to the hospital for being malnourished.
Mm-hmm.
And so all of the 4 kids were taken into
There were
care
two kids
of the state.
Ruby's
no,
2
there's
kids.
4 kids.
Okay, so two are Ruby's, and maybe the other 2 belong to Jodi. I'm not sure about that, but I only read about Ruby's 2 kids.
Oh, the other 2 kids are adults, but the other children are adults. I can't remember. Anyway, she doesn't have her kids, and she just had her hearing yesterday. Now, I am going to mention that this family is Mormon, and I mention this because she is a very, very famous blogger. Her YouTube channel is called 8 Passengers, and she used to talk about her religion and sort of like tough love. And, she said one day her 8-year-old daughter didn't pack her lunch. Well, no lunch for her. So the way that she taught
gave
a lesson,
parenting advice.
Yes. And this was, yes.
yeah.
Thank you for, yes. So she was parenting and she was very proud of, being Latter-day Saints. And I always say, I always respect people's right to worship. However, when you are in a religion or a community or some place that emphasizes and stresses obedience above all else, and if you don't follow and obey, that impacts your ultimate salvation, people act crazy. How are you going to not feed your kids? Feed your kids?
So, they took that when she was told she's being charged with, and I'll go over the charges that she's being charged with, all the things she was charged with is child abuse and neglect. She said to the police, make sure you don't let my kids hang out with other kids. Like what she's basically conveying is, my kids are not good kids. Like something is wrong with my kids. Don't let them be around other kids. Like, so clearly whatever was happening to those kids was some form of punishment, it seems like. But these two women, Jodi and Ruby, had so they always posted videos on parenting and family dynamics and called themselves the moms of truth.
Yeah.
Her YouTube channel, The 8 Passengers, had 2.3 million followers.
It was honestly, you were really watching child abuse. And I recognize that every parent is allowed to, within reason, discipline their child how they see fit. However, these moms were punishing their kids and they were bragging about it online.
Yeah.
And then they would go to their echo chamber and they'd be like, you do what you gotta do, mama. Okay, mama. And it's like, am I on glue? What is happening here?
Well, Jodi Hildebrandt was actually is actually a licensed clinical mental health counselor, and in the past worked as a counselor for porn addiction. And there's a video of her from about a year ago in which she says, basically she talks about how it's not a good idea to hit your children because hitting your children creates fear, and then the fear blah, 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 does this to them. I'm like, you had duct tape on these children in your home.
Yeah.
In your home.
You are telling a million viewers and subscribers how to parent?
Yeah.
Tune in tomorrow for the next episode of Nope. Are you fucking kidding me? Rabia, I love cooking.
So if there's anything I've learned about you, Ellyn, in the last year, it's definitely that you love to cook.
I feel like you're mocking me, but guess what? HelloFresh is here. I have been cooking with HelloFresh. It is my longest relationship in a very long time.
Okay, you know what? Fair enough. That is considered cooking. I accept the answer. Yes.
Well, I don't love to cook. But I do love HelloFresh, and I have been using HelloFresh for so long that I feel like it's just a gentle hug when I open my refrigerator and I see those little bags and I know that it's going to have all my pre-portioned ingredients. It's going to be delicious. I'm going to fool my daughter into thinking I'm an amazing cook. HelloFresh makes my life so easy.
And that you care about her health and nutrition. Yeah, that you actually care about feeding her. The thing about HelloFresh is this. when I first kind of, understood the concept of HelloFresh, I was like, okay, it's made for not people like me who I have been a home cook for like 25 years. I have a spice drawer that is like 8,000 spices deep. Yep, exactly. I know. I stop bragging. Do you know I work out, by the way? Anyway, but what I realized when I started getting HelloFresh was like, I am on a rotation. I am literally cooking the same 8 dishes over and over. And with HelloFresh, my family is finally like, oh, what is this, Mom? We have never had a Cajun blackened tilapia. I mean, like, they're getting meals they've never gotten because you just get stuck in a rut. So it's actually been so much fun. And to be able to hand the recipe to my husband and kids and be like, you make it. You can do it.
And you can get 40 weekly recipes and they can suit your lifestyle.
Yep.
If you're veggie, if you're wholesome, if you're family friendly, they also have snacks and breakfasts. They have it all and it is going to be easy. Everything is pre-portioned. It just takes one thing off of my list that I have to do, and that list is long. So go to HelloFresh.com/50solve the case and use code 50solve the case for 50% off plus 15% off the next 2 months.
Once again, go to HelloFresh.com/50solve the case and use the code 50solve the case for 50% off plus 15% off for the next 2 months.
You know the tagline is America's #1 meal kit, but I feel like it should be HelloFresh just makes your life better.
It does.
Rabia, I am pretty low maintenance about a lot of things, but I will tell you the thing that I will not...
Do you see the look of surprise on my face?
But I am. I really am. But the thing I will not sacrifice is my sheets. And I am so happy that Miracle Made is here.
So, yes, I know you are very particular. I actually finally got to see your house, and I mean, it is stunning, and I now know how particular you are about the things that you are surrounded by, the things that bring you comfort. And Miracle Made sheets, I mean, like, can you beat them? Can you beat them when they come to bedding? I don't know.
Well, they are so comfy and smooth and silky, but let me throw some information at you. These sheets were inspired by NASA. This is some science stuff, so get out your pens and pencils and your protractors and your compasses.
You're going to need a whiteboard for this. Get the whiteboard out.
It uses silver-infused fabrics and makes temperature regulating bed sheets. And who knew this? Think about how much bacteria is in your sheets.
No,
okay?
I don't want to.
Isn't it gross? But Miracle Made offers a whole line of self-cleaning, eco-friendly bedding. They've got sheets, they've got pillowcases, and it can prevent 99% of bacteria from getting on. Think about how gross that is.
I want you to think about the teenagers in your life.
Ugh.
Okay.
No.
And their sheets. But, I mean, the fact that these sheets, they call them thermoregulating. I mean, it's like they're alive. But they make sure that you maintain a comfortable body temperature. Are you a cold sleeper or hot sleeper?
I'm a cold sleeper. Are you a hot sleeper?
No, I'm a cold sleeper too. But I used to be a hot sleeper. I'm a cold sleeper now. But it kind of doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're a hot sleeper or cold sleeper. Miracle Made sheets they got you.
So, I mean, here we have sheets, which are, by the way, a great gift. Great for housewarming. Great gift because you keep sheets forever. You have the comfort and quality. You have the self-cleaning and the cooling regulation. And I am telling you, they are smooth as silk. You have got to try them.
And beautiful colors. Beautiful designs, yeah.
Gorgeous colors. And they have a money-back guarantee, okay? What is not to love? So go to trymiracle.com/solve the case to try Miracle Made sheets today.
And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save over 40%.
And if you use our promo, Solve the Case at checkout, you will get 3 free towels and save an extra 20%. You know I love a deal.
I want those 3 free towels. I'm going to go to that URL.
And Miracle is so confident in their product, it is backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you are not 100% satisfied, you will get a full refund.
Upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle.com/solve the case and use the code solve the case to claim your 3 free towel sets and save over 40%.
Again, that's trymiracle.com/solve the case to treat yourself.
Treat yourself.
Thank you, Miracle Made, for sponsoring this episode. And DM me and tell me how much you love them.
I love their sheets. We love your sheets.
They really are amazing.
So, beyond the fact that, these are definitely some garbage humans. I mean, first of all, Ruby's kids are in Jodi's house I don't know why. Ruby's husband apparently has separated. Her oldest daughter, I know, like completely cut her off years ago. But not only that, the oldest daughter and many others had called police in the past to report issues with these children. This is what really makes me angry. So apparently, the eldest daughter in September of 2022 called the police and said that her younger siblings have been left home for days alone while Ruby was out with a friend. So this is what happened. Officers went to the house. They saw kids in the house. The kids would not answer the door. So the report says officers seen the children on the phone and go upstairs where they were out of sight. And then the officers approached some neighbors who had gathered outside, and the neighbors tell them, well, the mother of this residence, Ruby Frankie, leaves her children home for extended periods of time all the time and goes and spends time with her friend Jodi. And so what happens? They take a report. Central Intake was contacted and a report was started, and they provide the report to Department of Children and Family Services. That's it. They do not try to get into the house where they see these minor children and know positively that they are alone. They just walk away and write a report. And beyond that, 15 times police have been called between March 2019 and this past August. At least in 5 of those visits, police were called because they were assisting the Department of Children and Family Services. They said that they had found that there were reports of these kids running unsupervised in the streets. There were reports that neighbors had called and others had called saying that these kids are being malnutritioned or what. I mean, like, the state knew for years, from 2019 to now, for years, what's happening to these kids and did nothing.
Well, I do wonder, and I'm going to get a lot of shit for wondering this. I wonder how much it has to do with the hierarchy of the Mormon church.
Ooh, I didn't think about that.
Because these people are LDS. Most people in this area are LDS. Oh, no, I know that guy. He's in my ward. He's fine. It's no big deal. It's a misunderstanding.
It is a brotherhood. They're
A
tight.
lot of things are swept under the rug. Oh, you deal with that at home. What you do in your home is private. I don't know.
Right.
We're here. We are a talk show. We talk about things that crossed my mind.
How
Because
do police show up, see children alone in the house, and leave?
I would love to hear more about that. I didn't hear the children being left alone thing, because that's really, really concerning.
Yeah. To go hang out with Jodi. I think her and Jodi might have been like, you know,
Doing the lickety splits.
I didn't say it. You did.
I mean, you know,
I love your euphemisms. I love your euphemisms. They're just amazing.
That's straight from Joey Taranto. So her hearing yesterday that took place at 2 p.m., that was in the Utah court. It was, first of all, they announced that it was the most media there had ever been allowed in. And they basically, she was able to speak, and basically she blamed her kids. And she said one of her kids was sexually assaulting another one of her kids, and that son was watching porn from the time they were 3 years old. It was bananas. She literally was blaming her children for everything. Like, she was passing the buck to a child. Did you hear about that?
I did not. And so, I mean, she wants a court to believe, or anybody to believe, that a 3-year-old is going to be like, I'm just going to log into my OnlyFans and watch me some porn. I mean, really? Really?
Yeah.
This is, you know, this kind of reminds me of like Carrie and all, you know, this extremist religious parents who think anything their children do is inherently dirty. I remember having a conversation with this woman many, many years ago, and she was like, and she had, her stepson was like maybe 8 or 9, I think. And then she had her own son who was like 1. And she's like, I saw my stepson like look inside his diaper. I'm like, he's a kid. He's just looking at, I'm like, yeah, there's nothing, like, stop, don't, like, cause she's like, I think he's a pervert. I think I should report him. I'm like, don't you dare do that. I'm like, kids do this. You know what I mean? Like, there's, but there are people like this who think a child even recognizing their own private parts or touching them or looking at somebody else is suddenly like they are possessed by demons.
Yeah, I mean, it's the wild thing is you have to understand the platform that this woman has. Now, you and I, in terms of the entertainment world, we have small platforms.
We are small time.
But look at how overwhelmed we can get.
Yeah.
You know, like, I take my platform and I put platform in quotes because I don't have hundreds of thousands.
Mm-hmm.
She had 2.3 million. I take my teeny tiny little platform very seriously.
Mm-hmm.
You and I both do. We put our shit out there a lot,
Yeah.
and you have to be accountable for it, and you have to be ready for what people to interpret and take whatever you say. 2.3 million people. Let's say 10%
Taking
of those
parenting
are
advice.
giving parenting advice
Yeah.
and life advice. Meanwhile, she's facing 6 felony counts of child abuse. It is, and you know what? It is just a classic too little too late because so many people have come out and said, oh, I had a weird feeling about this. Okay, but guess what? When you have a weird feeling and it involves a child, you have an absolute village-like obligation to report that to a teacher, to the authorities, to CPS, to a neighbor, to anyone.
Where are the teachers?
Where
These
is anyone?
kids should have been in school.
If I see a kid on the street, this hand to God, if I see a kid and I don't see a parent or an adult nearby, I say, "Are you by yourself?"
Yep.
I
Same.
I
Yeah.
constantly have my gaze going, not my gaze, not like yes, queen, but like my gaze.
Yeah.
Thank you. I had to clarify. Going for those things. Where were these children's advocates? Okay, the parents are garbage. The parents are trash.
Yeah.
Where are the people in their church community? Where are the teachers? Where are the friends?
father hasn't
Everyone
been
is turning a
charged.
blind eye because extremist religions say, no, they're dealing with their kids at home. They train obedience. They train, keep your eyes on your own paper. No, I don't know. And don't come for me about Mormonism because it's not just Mormonism. It's any extreme religion.
But that's what
there
laws
should
are
have been
for.
people looking out for those fucking kids.
The law is supposed to be that great equalizer that says, we don't care about your religion. You cannot abuse and neglect your children. Now, interestingly enough, Ruby's husband, who apparently moved out not too long ago, or I don't know, at one point, no, he moved out, I think, when she started getting close to Jodi and working with her. But also, where is he? Does he not notice my children seem kind of skinny and they are neglected? I mean, he has not been charged with anything. But if she's leaving those kids for days and days, why doesn't the father even know about that?
Right. Well, he was saying that he was out of the county. So I think they were separated, but also he didn't spend the summer with the kids for whatever reason. And his lawyer told Chris Cuomo, if I were to, if I would have known, I would have stopped it. But
you would have known if you had showed up. I mean,
even
why
FaceTimed.
Yeah.
When you look at your kids on FaceTime, you have schmutz on your face.
Yeah.
What did you do to your hair?
Yeah.
Oh my! What are you? What shirt are you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You didn't FaceTime your kids all summer and notice that they dropped 10 lbs?
Yeah. It's or your kids in all this time, are you saying in all these years, you have never known your kids to say, Mom was out of town for 6 days and left us alone, or however long. They were right now upon her arrest, they were 10 and 12. And this goes back, we know at least till 2019 she's been doing this. So it's imagine how young they are. You're telling me you are such an absent parent that you have no idea your kids are being left alone at home. And the eldest daughter is not telling you? Of course she's telling you. I say arrest the father too.
We need to edit this in. She has 6 kids. That's why the TV show was named
eight.
In a minivan going to hell in a handbasket. Here I go. Check out my roots. Whatever that fucking stupid show was
8 passengers,
called. Yeah. And so I mean, if you watch some of the old stuff, and I've only watched it on TikTok because, obviously she didn't come up on my radar, but apparently she took most of her acts of aggression out on the youngest ones. There's one video where she's holding out her foot and the kid is in front of the camera. She's like, and what if I just went like that? And she kicks the kid with her foot. It's almost like she was challenging the internet.
Holy crap.
Dare to come for her radical parenting style.
Holy crap.
And there is radical parenting style. Listen, I think gentle parenting is kind of radical when they're like, do you want to kiss the lamp goodnight? Shut up! Turn off the lights! Don't kiss the lamp goodnight! There's all kinds of wackadoodle parenting.
Yeah.
But people sat and witnessed these kids get abused. Yeah. It is rage-inducing. It is hot in here, so take off all your clothes. It is really, really warm.
I'm those kids, I mean, I don't know if but I feel like they should be, those kids should be suing the system at this point for completely failing them because police officers, when you show up in response to calls like this, you have one job.
Yeah.
DCFS.
And
You have one,
it's
John.
sort of what we were saying. We're in the future now. We just recorded with Dan Bukatinsky, and we were talking about getting spanked. That's not a thing anymore.
Yeah.
When we were kids, we we were hit with the wooden spoon.
Mm-hmm.
Were you not hit because is that like in your family? Is that Muslim? Like Italians are very like corporal punishment.
No. I mean, look, culturally, like definitely old school parents like do spank and stuff. Like my husband got the crap spanked out of him, beat out of him, I would say, which is appalling to me because in my family, like it's just like my dad wasn't raised. My dad wasn't subject to being. My grandfather thankfully was a gentle parent, and so my dad didn't believe in hitting, and he didn't hit. My dad would just look at us like with his brows furrowed, and I'd be like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry, I'm so scared." Like he didn't need to raise a hand, and my mom like. Her and my sister would get into it sometimes, but she never spanking was just not really a thing. It just wasn't in our house, which I'm thankful for. There were other kinds of a lot of screaming and stuff, but and we were terrified of that, but we weren't spanked. It just wasn't a thing. I think because my parents weren't spanked, so they did not spank.
Yeah, and the amount of times that the authorities went to this woman's home, and maybe she was just kind of like a gaslighter and she could talk her way out of anything, I guess.
If she was home or they showed up and she wasn't there, they're like, "Oh well, I guess she's not here, we can do nothing, we'll just leave the kids alone inside like feral animals."
Yeah, it is so sad.
So her hearing yesterday was what was the hearing for yesterday? Was she like just she was just charged yesterday? Or?
Yeah, she was just charged, but it was really the statement that she made that it was all very confusing. She was saying that one of her kids was watching porn. I was like, "Oh, who puts porn in the
how do they have access to porn?
Cheeto grasp of a child?"
Yeah. How do they have access to porn? Any single thing those children are doing right now is your fault and responsibility, basically. That's what it comes down to at this age.
Yeah. But her bond hearing is set for September 21st at 9 a.m. And she is in the medical unit right now, but nobody knows why. As of like 3 hours ago, we don't know why she's in the medical unit. I don't know. Maybe she is a suicide risk. I have no idea, but that's as of 3 hours. Maybe by the time this airs, we'll have a better idea of why she's in the medical unit.
All right. Okay. Wow. So we both got eyes on that case. Interesting.
Oh man.
I have a little update on Lori Vallow. Although by the time when this drops, our actual episode about Lori Vallow will not have dropped, but I can kind of brief people about and remind them who she was. Vallow was just convicted this past May of 2 counts of first-degree murder for killing her 2 children, 7-year-old Joshua JJ Vallow and 16-year-old Tylee Ryan, and then 3 counts of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder against her husband's first wife. Got 3 life sentences, but she filed an appeal last week. Excuse me, she filed an appeal last week, and the appeal.
What did the appeal say?
Well, the appeal said that prosecutors made fundamental reversible errors in opening statements because they said things about her that prejudiced a jury, whatever. Generally in opening and closing, you can almost get away with anything. So I don't think that's going to fly. They did not allow her a right to a speedy trial. It's not going to work either. And they refused to send Vallow back to a mental hospital after defense attorneys requested it. That has nothing to do with a fundamental reversible error, I don't think, because that always just applies to what actually happens in the courtroom. So I don't know. I mean, it's just kind of like, I think they're just throwing some feces at a wall and seeing what sticks.
I mean, they have to, right? I mean, that's the thing. Like you always have to appeal, right?
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to if she's got the money. I mean, you don't have a right to appellate counsel in this country. Like you have a right to criminal defense counsel, right? If I can't afford a lawyer at my trial, the state will appoint one. You don't have a right to an appellate attorney. You got to afford them. You got to pay for that. So, the document also said that the prosecution did not amend the grand jury indictment 2 years after the indictment was filed without sending the case back to the grand jury, which I don't even think is a statutory requirement. So I don't see how, I mean, it just seems like it's not going to work. She's not getting a new trial. What she's asking for is a new trial, okay, based on these reversible errors. She ain't getting it.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I mean, she's wackadoo. But I mean, good luck. I guess just waste your money in court and go
I mean, that's another
so
one.
crazy someplace else. We're all stocked up here. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
look, but I cannot disagree with Lori Vallow that she definitely belongs in a medical unit somewhere, psych unit somewhere. I mean, this woman and her beliefs and what she believes even about her children. She's like, I didn't murder them. They're happy to be gone. They're happy to be dead.
okay, so oh man, this is going to be a hard one, but
Oh,
we
God.
definitely have to talk about it. And that's what we're here to do. We are here to talk about the headlines and everything that is going on and the emotions that come up. September 7th, a judge sentenced that 70s show star, Danny Masterson, to 30 years in prison. And his charge was raping 2 women. And we were able to hear their victim impact statements. They said, "When you raped me, you stole from me. That is what rape is, a theft of spirit. You are pathetic, disturbed, and completely violent. The world is better off with you in prison." So the judge handed down this sentence to Masterson, who is now 47, and don't think the irony isn't lost on me that he will literally get out of prison in his 70s. That is so poetic. But he as the women spoke, he gave no visible reaction, and he has not shown an ounce of remorse. And it was he waived his right to speak. And when he was sentenced, he had no visible reaction. And so he is going to be behind bars, and I have a lot of thoughts and feelings about this, and in in no particular order. Ashton Kutcher has stood by his bestie.
Really?
Taking time out of grandstanding for sex trafficking victims, and really like speaking out for sex trafficking victims. But his statement, I might be paraphrasing here, but his statement was something like, I feel for anybody who feels like they were violated in any way.
Wow. That is just classic, like a narcissist response.
Ashton Kutcher really said,
wow.
I'm sorry you feel that way.
Yeah.
When it comes to sexual assault.
Wow.
So Danny Masterson will, be getting, fucked 12 ways from sideways in prison where he belongs for people that assault women.
I cannot condone rape prison. Let's not do that.
Ashton Kutcher.
Let's not go there.
Is that bad of me that I said that?
Yeah, we don't want people getting raped in prison.
Oh no, I want him hurt. No, I do. Like when Kirsten Smart's attacker, he had his throat slit in prison a couple weeks ago, and he lived. I was like, well, someone didn't do a very good job at throat slitting class, did they? Am I a monster? Great. I'm a monster then. You mean to tell me he is allowed to attack those women, make them live with that kind of pain for the rest of their lives? They are stunted emotionally, sexually from that moment on. And you mean to tell me that I can't wish him to be a little bitch boy to like old Hercules over there in the corner? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I'm not saying I don't understand. I'm not saying I don't understand the sentiment. What I'm trying to say is that he's paying for it by serving 30 years in prison. And
I also believe there are certain parts of me, maybe I believe in an eye for an eye. But when it comes to violating women, when it comes to her, because also this is what came up a lot, right? He was equated a little bit to Bill Cosby, because here's the thing. You can be charming and funny on a real kitschy, silly TV show, and you can still be a fucking pile of shit scumbag in real life. Yeah. We learned that from Bill Cosby. The human propensity to paint people as good and evil, or say like, he doesn't seem like a bad guy. He doesn't seem like a guy who can rape someone, because people who seem good do despicable acts every day. And a lot of people had trouble mentally accepting Bill Cosby as a monster, right?
It just doesn't
register.
I was one, because he's Huxtable to me.
Of course he is. He's Heathcliff Huxtable. And this guy was, and this guy was a monster, and everyone's like, "Oh no,
Listen,
I love that guy."
I have to talk down. I'm not even kidding. I have to really push back and talk down the part of me that says he has it coming. I'm okay with him having it coming, and embrace my better angels to be like, okay, his punishment is this. Which, by the way, I think 30 years. In a lot of I know we are a heavily incarceration pro nation, and in many nations around the world, 30 years, 25 years is considered a life sentence. So I also wonder I think I know the answer to this. You think 30 years is fine. I feel like 30 years
Well, it also paints a bigger picture that I didn't mention. The Church of Scientology was involved in this.
Okay. I didn't know.
Because he had 5 accusers total, and the Church of Scientology suppressed them from reporting him. So this is a bigger picture issue.
Yeah.
But, they were ridiculed, raked over the coals for coming forward against him. But also, it was also the way he spoke about it. And I don't want to quote it, but everyone was coming out saying that they vouched for his character. He was a man of exceptional character. Ashton Kutcher called him a role model. This is what I have a problem with. And he said something, and I'm paraphrasing, so excuse me, but he said something about how the women were into it, and he, we were just fucking around. It was something like that.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. This is a newsflash for everyone. When you are an adult, you don't fuck a minor. You sexually assault a minor.
100%.
So, and it doesn't matter.
Were the victims minors in this situation?
Yes, at the time. And it's a very, very big story. It has a lot of conspiracy theories with the Church of Scientology, and I don't know.
Wait, so he's a member. Him and Ashton Kutcher are both members of the Church of Scientology?
I don't know if he is. I don't think Ashton Kutcher is. Danny Masterson is.
Okay.
But what would be better? What would be better for him? What would be the solution to a man taking girls' innocence away? What would be better? Because I agree with you about the financial crimes, but do you think 30 years is too harsh?
I think 30 years is too harsh. But I do think he deserves prison time because he is a violent offender who likely will offend again. But it doesn't even matter. Like punitively, I think he deserves time in prison.
But he did.
I do think 30 years.
He attacked 5 women.
Yeah.
He that we know.
But he was convicted of 2, right? So he's convicted of 2 rapes. He's not convicted of the other 3. I don't know how those allegations
I'm
bore
saying
out.
He had 5 accusers. He had 5 accusers come forward. So I'm saying he raped 5 women. So am I going to get sued for that?
But he can only be sentenced for what he was convicted of, right? So we can agree there,
right? But in my mind, if I'm quantifying this, if I'm quantifying it in my small brain,
not only are you right, but if 5 people accused him, I bet there's 15 others who haven't even accused him, but they're out there. Like because these guys, it's like cockroach. I mean, like if you see 1 or 2, there's a lot more you're never going to hear about. Those women are not going to come forward. Those girls will not. I know this. I understand how this works.
And this was years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, these women said, I have stayed quiet long enough. They have been silenced and made to not tell their story for fear or ridicule or fear of being ostracized. Anybody who knows me from I think not.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, I say lock the door and throw away the key. Yeah. Sorry.
I'm going to say something that might upset you. And that is this. What Ashton Kutcher is doing reminds me a little bit of Johnny Depp's support for his friend Marilyn Manson. I mean, and that guy
from him. I don't remember what I only remember.
He stands by Marilyn. That's like one of his best friends. He stands by him. I mean, we know of the horrific things that Marilyn Manson has been accused of, right? Like I think there's,
I actually don't.
Oh,
I really don't. Was it with minors?
It was not with minors, but he literally he literally, I mean, like, have you seen there's a documentary? You should watch the documentary. It's horrifying. It's horrifying. I mean, it's
Like he
really,
committed
really hard to
sexual
watch.
assault? I really don't know. He
Yeah,
committed sexual assault?
yes, actually, like, binding them to chairs, torture. I mean, it is brutal. He brutalized some of these women. And Johnny Depp's like, he my buddy. I stand by him. I mean, the guy had a dungeon, like a torture chamber, right? I mean, like, so it's a really, really hard documentary to watch, but if you can bring yourself to do it, I'd watch
What
it.
is it? What is it called?
It's called Phoenix Rising.
And it's about the whole Marilyn
Evan
Manson
Rachel
thing?
Woods, Marilyn. Yeah, you gotta watch it. You gotta watch it.
Yeah, I you know, you use your clout in Hollywood, you use your fame, you use your money, you throw around your famous friends, and then you get young girls and you give them drugs and you give them booze. It just perpetuates the patriarchal society that men can do whatever they want. And I think this sets a precedent in Hollywood that, like, when you fuck around, you will find out even 20 years later.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you were on that 70s show and go jam into jail into your fucking 70s because you can't hurt women. Stop hurting women. Stop hurting women. It's so fucking easy. Just stop hurting them. Stop hurting them. Stop killing them. Stop assaulting them. Stop controlling them. Just stop it. And then you don't have to go to jail. And then you get to go make more bad television.
I was looking at, like, just kind of like, trying to decide what stories I wanted to talk about today. And I'm looking at some of, like, the most recent headlines in the last 7 days from True Crime News. And I'm like, 95% of these stories are man kills woman, man kills woman, man rapes woman, man kills woman, over and
It
over
doesn't
and
stop.
over and
It doesn't
over and
stop.
over.
And there's people covering shit up. And this is one story we've heard about, that the Church of Scientology helped silence these women.
Yeah.
Don't say anything. No, it wasn't a big deal. Oh, you were drunk. Are you sure you remember it? Like, it is debilitating. I can't believe you think that 30 years is too long. They were minors.
Yeah.
Why? Why do you
Do
value
you know how long a year
his
is?
freedom?
I don't value his freedom. I don't value his freedom.
Why do you value his time in jail more than you would the rest of those women's life? What if it was our girls?
Right. I just don't think we have gotten so desensitized as a society as to what incarceration should look like. Like, we are not anywhere commensurate with, forget civilized nations, even the ones we consider uncivilized don't have sentences like this. 30 years. Do you know how long 30 years is, Ellen? Think about where you were 30 years ago.
Do you know how easy it is not to rape women?
I understand that.
It's very
we're going to
easy.
fundamentally disagree on this. I believe that he should serve time. I believe that he should have other kinds of repercussions, probably. I believe he should probably wear an ankle monitor for the rest of his goddamn life. I believe he should be have some kind of parole probation where he has to have counseling for that. Whatever. I believe in reparations. I believe he should try.
What would his reparations be?
I have no idea. You would have to ask those women what kind of amends. What would you need to, like? I don't know. Support their therapy for the rest of their life. I have no idea. But I think just locking someone up for decades and decades and decades is not the right thing to do for a society that I just think it's wrong. I just think it's wrong.
Well, but we say in society, you don't have to go to that cement room if you act right. And I'm not saying even go out and do good deeds. I mean, don't attack and violate women. And then you get to live amongst us. You get to drive a fancy car. You get to be on TV. You get to be best friends with Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis. Pew, pew. That's all you have to do is act like a civilized person in society. You don't even have to put goodness out there. And you can't even do that? So I don't know. I really am fine to agree to disagree, but
yeah,
those women's life, the everyday, the psychological, the emotional, the physical, it is so hard already to feel comfortable for women to feel comfortable in our skin.
I'm a survivor.
No,
I have experienced it.
No, I understand.
I am. I was 22 years old, so I get it. I understand it. Like, I am that woman.
I don't want those. If that's not the way to a civilized society, I don't want those people in my society. I want you away from my society. Go make another island. Go out on an island. You can go hang out there. I don't want you in my society. Women are not safe around you. And I care much more about protecting women than I do about protecting some two-bit actor with a bad perm.
I'm not trying to protect him. I'm just saying that the sentence is not commensurate with the crime. That's where I'm at. And you would understand. I think you might agree with that if you took a look globally at what other countries do and how they deal with these issues.
I do agree sometimes with what you're saying about
Sometimes.
No. When we were talking about the financial crimes, I actually agree with you. If you can't help yourself and you think that attacking women is okay, you do not get to breathe the same air as me. That's it. I honestly will say now, if somebody hurt my daughter, I can't even think of an adequate amount of revenge. That is, and maybe I'm not well. Maybe I'm not well. But
I'm not saying
honestly,
you're not well. I think your response is actually the normative response. I think this is how a lot of people do respond and feel
I'm
about
very
these
normative,
situations.
Rabia. That's what people tell me all the time.
All
You're
the time.
so normal.
But this
I get that
particular
a lot.
response, I'm going to say it. It's a very normative American response. It really is, which is why it has been so difficult to undo mass incarceration in this country. I would like to come back. Let's do this. Because this is weekly. Let's come back next week, and I want to pull some information about how some other countries deal with these issues and the kind of sentencing they give. Because it's
Rabia,
not all.
I am with you. I am
Okay.
with you. People who are in jail for drug charges. People
No,
who
I
are
mean
in
this.
jail
I
for
mean these specific
larceny.
charges. What is
Nothing
what are the,
when it comes to hurting children and
Mhm.
assaulting women? I am a deeply compassionate person. I really am. You know what I mean? I really, really can see the hurt and the good in people. My deal breakers will always be children and hurting women. That's it. Everything else we can have a conversation about. And I'm not saying men are off the hook. I'm talking about grand larceny, grand theft auto. I don't even care if you rob a fucking bank. We had a lady who robbed a bank with a BB gun when we covered pink collar crimes. I was like, let her out. She was hopped up on Oxycontin,
So none of this, the 30-year sentence, you really don't care about the rehabilitative impact or deterrent effect of it is not what's important for you. You don't care about any of that. It's just all punitive. It's all punitive.
Absolutely do care
It's all
about
punitive.
that.
It's all punitive.
No, don't put words into my mouth. I did
I'm
not say
asking
that.
you. I'm asking you.
That was not a question. That was a statement.
No, that's what I'm getting from it. What you're saying is when you hurt people, I don't care, lock you up. Are you hoping that he gets
assault women? Right. I do not believe. No. And
do you want him to be rehabilitated? Is that what do you want that to be part of the goal here?
Yes.
Really, Ellyn? Come on.
I don't think he can be because he attacked 5 women. You did it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. You should have rehabilitated your fucking self after the first one, the second one, the third one, the fourth one, the 5th woman's life that you ruined. No, you are a fucking control freak. You don't value women. You think you're more important. You think you're above the law. No.
Let me ask you this. This is I'm just curious
now.
Have
you taken your meds today? Is that the question?
No, my question is this. There are some, and I'm trying. I don't know where exactly. I don't know if this still exists, but there was a time and place in which chemical castration would be the punishment, or some kind of, or even physical castration would be the punishment for rape. How do you feel about that?
Great.
I'm actually, honestly, I am actually more inclined towards chemical castration versus 30 years in prison.
Because
if a guy was given a choice, if a man was given a choice, you can serve 30 years, you can be chemically castrated.
Here's my question. Here's my question.
Yeah.
Who rapes a child?
No, monsters, of course.
A monster. How far gone are you to rape a child? Do you think there are screw loose? Agreed? Is that it?
I'm gonna guess
that.
Yeah, what I'm gonna guess. Actually, I'm not gonna guess. I know this. That most people who are perps of these kinds of crimes themselves have been traumatized as children.
He hasn't.
How do you know that?
It was reported. He has no sexual abuse in his past. None.
It's not something that he alleged or used as a mitigating thing that he has some childhood trauma. I mean, okay. I mean, I that's unusual, I'll say, but a lot of times that there is that. I'm not making I'm just saying we over incarcerate 30 years is too long. 25 years is a life sentence in most countries for murder. So I don't agree with the sentence. I'm not saying he shouldn't be locked up. But, we're not going to agree on this. And that's,
No,
and
I
swear
understand.
I swear to God, listen, my first instinct, if somebody, and like I said, as somebody who has gone through it myself with terrible repercussions forever, it took me 15, 20 years to even admit that I've been raped.
What about him not making a statement? What about
What's he going to say?
remorse?
What's he going to say?
I'm sorry?
No, because
I'm sorry? What I did was wrong?
a man like that is not going to say sorry, Ellen. A man like
so
that.
how can he be rehabilitated if he has no remorse?
Right.
If
I
he
don't
can't
think maybe he
acknowledge
can't. Maybe
that
he
he
can't.
did something wrong.
Listen, here's the thing. I don't think these sentences are deterrents. No guy who is a monster is going to I totally hit that, except that I might get 30 years. Like no guy, no monster that is, deterred by it. The point is what I'm saying is you're actually agreeing with me that other than punitive, other than as a punishment, retribution, this sentence doesn't serve a rehabilitative purpose or a deterrent purpose. It doesn't. It's purely punitive, which is fine. And I think it's okay to admit that because sometimes it needs to be punitive. He should go to prison because he needs to be punished. Simple. I don't give a fuck if he gets rehabilitated or not.
Okay.
But 30 years.
30 years. Okay.
He's going to appeal that sentence, and I have a feeling it's going to be reduced. He's not serving 30 years.
Okay, let me just I didn't want to read this, but I'm going to now. This is from one of the victims. He spat on her, called her white trash, and tried to have sex with her while she was asleep. When she woke up while Masterson was forcing himself on her, she said no. He pinned her down and raped her. She lost the ability to fight, and he penetrated her and raped her so violently that she vomited.
Mm.
That person could be rehabilitated?
If you're saying they can't, then you are agreeing with what I said, which is this is all punitive.
With him, yes. I
okay.
do believe.
Well, that's what I said, and you said I didn't say that. Don't put those words in my mouth.
You didn't ask me the question.
but that's essentially what you're saying. You're not saying he should serve 30 years because I think he can be rehabilitated.
Anyway, he's a monster. Does anyone in the chat have anything to say before we go? Kelly says that's more appropriately attempted murder. That's actually a very good point.
Interesting. Yeah.
That is an absolute act of violence. Anyway, well, welcome, General Feed, to the first About Damn Crime, where Robbie and I scream at each other over how we incarcerate criminals. But it honestly,
it's never this contentious. This is the first time it's gotten a little bit contentious. But I don't feel
case to case.
It is case to
case.
This
heats me up. Anybody who listens, this heats me up.
I feel your love and passion. I know because you're not. Yeah.
I do believe in rehabilitation. When you said that thing about that lawyer working pro bono, yes, I don't believe everyone belongs. I don't believe everyone belongs in jail. I do believe people are incarcerated because of systemic poverty and systems of abuse and racism. I believe in all of that. I also believe that some people are pure evil and they do not deserve to walk the streets among us because we are not safe.
This is true. I also
and
believe
our daughters are not safe.
I believe in sentencing reform.
What scares the shit out of me is our girls going to university and getting fucking drugged in their drink. Have you seen those videos? How fast people do that?
Yeah.
My daughter, like 14, I have talked to her about holding her drink. If you ever go to a party, she's never been to a party yet, but it terrifies me. That terrifies me. Young, stupid little frat boys scare me more than walking down the scariest street in Manhattan by myself.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway, I love you.
I love you too.
And join us next week when we scream about something else.
We won't. We don't know. This was an unusual conversation.
No, it is. Welcome back. Let's talk about sexual assault. Thank you for joining us on About Damn Crime. Don't forget, we're going to be bringing you About Damn Crime every other week and our regular talk show episode every alternating week.
Mm-hmm. If you want us every week, you can find us every week on the Patreon.
And where can they find the Patreon?
On patreon.com/solvethecase.
Nope.
Or is it Rabia and Ellyn?
This is
on
why
patreon.com.
everyone's like,
Listen,
Ellyn, why do you do all the talking?
She really wants me to memorize every URL in the world. Okay, so it's
Rabia,
patreon.com /
you are categorically smarter than me. How do I have more things in my head if you are factually smarter than me?
No, listen, I am absolutely not factual. We prioritize different kinds of information. Ellen's like, I need to know what every group of animals in the world is called. And I am like, that's really interesting, but I will not save it. I don't have enough gray brain cells to like dedicate them to that. This is the difference. URLs, not something I'm saving in my head.
We are patreon.com / Rabia and Ellyn, and we are Rabia and Ellyn on all social media platforms. Please give us a follow. We love it when you like and share our content and let your friends and your friends of friends and your work colleagues enjoy our show just as much as you do. If you share our social media, we will give you a big social media hug right back. That is how new listeners find us. Thank you so much. You can also join our Facebook group where we put all of our source material. We are talking all the time about true crime, a lot of stuff that comes up, which is kind of how we got the idea to do this show, right, Rabia?
Yeah, people are always talking about this stuff, so we wanted to come back more frequently with that.
Exactly. So please like, subscribe, follow, retweet, street. What do they do on the
Subscribe
threads?
to the YouTubes.
You are getting good at the YouTube. Tell them about our YouTube channel.
We have a YouTube channel. Just look up Rabia and Ellyn Solve the Case on YouTube and you'll find us. Subscribe. All of our everything's video.
I literally said, tell them about YouTube. And she goes, we have a YouTube.
All the episodes, the video is now up. Thank God we recorded everything on video. Our videos are up, and going forward, we're always been on video. So if you want to see our mugs, see what we look like, look at Ellen's beautiful lit up space, and I'm actually in a tomb. Look at my tomb.
You guys, we're gonna redecorate. We're gonna make a video redecorating your what is it called?
My recording studio. By the way, this is an idea. Look, I have case files down here.
I know. Honey, those case files, those have been collecting dust since the Obama administration.
Yeah, they need to go back to Tennessee.
Do you know what? I have extra of that peacock wallpaper if you want some.
I do want some. I want some
I
extra
have a
peacock.
whole extra roll.
I love it. I know exactly where I'm going to put it. I know exactly. Because I was like, how do I get my
studio?
Oh, should I?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. Also, who wants Ellyn to teach me, give me voice lessons? I think that should be a Patreon.
That is going to be a
series.
Patreon Zoom. I honestly can't wait.
Is it just Dory, Fima,
Thank you all so much. And thank you to our star witnesses who get to join us every week here in the studio and sit in and make fun of us and chat with us. We love you so much. Thank you for supporting us. Until next week, Rabia.
Bye, guys. Love you guys.
Love you.